Hi, everyone. My name is Misha Benoliel. I'm super happy to be with you today. I was here last year to talk about the topic of messaging with Gavin from Hike, and today I'm going to introduce you to some things completely new and different that we have been working on with my team, who is based in San Francisco. And it's called Nodal, and what it is, it's a connectivity solutions for the Internet of Things, for that means wearables, it means also appliances. So basically for everything that you want to connect to the Internet. So it's called Nodal.io, and we are announcing it at Rise, since we started to talk about it a few days ago. So what I want to put this into the context of ambient computing, because we believe that sometime soon, in the next maybe 5 to 10 years, everything will have a small computer into it. And it will be an AI computing solutions that will be always connected or connected to other devices around. But to realize this promise of ambient computing, you need to have first a solution for connectivity which is very low power, and also you have to have the cost of the hardware and the radios to be very, very inexpensive, because you may want to have an AI computer tomorrow in your jacket, for example. So we are working on that, and we believe that Nodal.io is the solution adapted to provide this connectivity layer to realize the promise of ambient computing. So today, if you want to connect a device to the Internet, you don't have that many solutions. You can buy a cellular module, buy a plan, or make a contract with a traditional telco, or you can use other solutions like low-power wide area network, like LoRa or Sigfox. But still, to deploy an infrastructure to support the Internet of Things, you have to spend tens of millions, hundreds, or sometimes billions of dollars to cover a whole country. And when you are a manufacturer or a device maker, you often make devices that probably sometimes cost just $10. So why are you going to spend $15 just for a module you're going to add to your device that doesn't consume a lot of energy and make it less useful? And then you will have to pay enormous and gigantic amount of money to connect these devices to the Internet. So that's what really the problem we are tackling and we are solving with Nodal.io. So to realize ambient computing, you need low power and also high bandwidth. And so that's the solution we bring. And the way we do it is pretty innovative. We use and we leverage everyone's smartphones. So you could call it like it's kind of a citizen network. So we put a piece of software on our partner's smartphone or with app developers, and we have a business model for that. So we provide a nice revenue stream to our partners. And as people walk by, you can connect automatically to some of devices around that these manufacturers want to collect data from. And this data is going to the cloud. And then basically, we can realize this promise of connecting these devices to the cloud or to the Internet at a very, very low cost. When you look at the cellular network today, I think the ITU released a number which is 95% of the population is actually in reach of a cellular network. So they don't all have a smartphone yet. I mean, some networks are 2G, most of them now are 3G and 4G. But the number is growing, and very, very soon everyone is going to have a smartphone. So we'll be able to cover almost like 95% of the whole population, which means that any objects around one of the people who have a smartphone will be able to send back data to the Internet at a very low cost. So the way we do that, on this graph you can see, is you have a smartphone in the center, and it will connect to a wearable, for example, or tomorrow you can imagine any clothing, for example. It can be sidewalks, or it can be an air tracker to track the quality of the air, for example. So that's the model we offer to developers. It's similar to an advertising SDK. So if you build an app, you want to monetize your app today. You can either sell in-app purchase, or you can put ads into your app. But you can also now, with our solution, put our SDK, and when manufacturers and device makers pay on our portal to connect their devices, we give to our partners half of the revenue we make with these device manufacturers for helping us growing the network and collecting the data. So that's an interesting use case. It's one of our first partners. It's in the healthcare industry. They are based in Vietnam, and they build these machines to help kids and children to breathe in hospitals. So the problem they face is, especially in some countries, I mean, the infrastructure is not there yet, but almost everyone has a smartphone already. So they have this machine in hospitals, and they have people in hospitals who carry their smartphones. And when they pass nearby these machines, they collect data to know when maintenance has to happen on these machines, and also to improve the service to the doctors who are using these machines every day. Another interesting use case is the monitoring of urban pollution, especially in countries like India, where it's a concern, or also in China, for example. And the limitation today is really the cost of these devices and how do you bring back the data back to the cloud. And with Nodal, we provide a solution which is very low energy and very low cost. So we enable cities to basically scale the number of tracking solutions for the air quality to another level, which was not possible before. Interesting use case, which is not realized yet because we are just starting. But once we have to start to have a lot of density and cover a big part of actually the global population on the Earth, we will be able to track goods and perishable goods. And because you can imagine tomorrow in every packaging, you will be able to have a small computer with sensors that will track the quality of the food and vegetables, for example, like in this photo. As the technology progresses, you're going to start to see also devices that have the capacity to produce their own energy, either using solar, but also backscatter technology. And that's going to revolutionize the way we actually consume data and the way we will be able to collect data from all these devices and every device that's surrounding us. There is an interesting article I read last week where there was the first cell phone that was using actually self-harvesting energy, and the people were able to place calls with that cell phone, so it's not a smartphone yet, that was producing its own energy. And where does that lead in the future? It means that once you have an ID or data embedded in every object, every device around you, once you will start to wear, for example, glasses that enable augmented reality, you will not only be able to analyze your environments through the camera by being connected to the cloud, but you will also be able to retrieve data directly from these devices that are around you. So we are really, with this technology, pushing the internet to the edge. So instead of trying to guess what is this object and the characteristic of this object or of this thing, you will directly retrieve the data from the device itself. So to make it a bit more understandable to every one of you, we also are releasing today an app available on Android, which is called Noodle. And the principle is, as you move around, you capture signals from devices. And there is even a leaderboard, so it's a challenge. So the one who are going to discover the most devices around them basically can win this challenge. And if you want to look for it on the Android store, on the Play Store, you have to type Noodle with a exclamation point, and then also Nodal.io after that, and you will be able to download it. So I hope I have given you a good overview of what we are doing and what the future is going to look like when it comes to connecting every devices around you. And thank you for listening to me, and have a great time at RISE. Thank you. Bye-bye.